All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Harachaha Kodash. A double honors unto the apostles and elders of James Great Millstone, and a sincere Shalom to Yakim bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. As you see, this article is from End Time Headlines, and it reads, Doctors struggle to keep up with euthanasia demand in Canada. Right? It says the euthanasia conference was held at a Sheraton. Some 300 Canadian professionals, most of them clinicians, had arrived for the annual event. Now, what is euthanasia? Let's get into it. All right. It says euthanasia is also known as mercy killing. It says the painless killing of a person or animal suffering from an incurable and painful disease or an irreversible coma. Right. So basically, they're giving people like a lethal injection, who don't want to live anymore or who are diseased, man. Now, when you read down, it says, over the past decade, practitioners of euthanasia have become as familiar as orthodontists or plastic surgeons are with the mundane rituals of lanyards and drink tickets. It's, go down. It says when Canada's parliament in 2016 legalized the practice of euthanasia, medical assisting in dying, or MAID, as it's formally called, it launched an open-ended medical experiment. One day, administering a lethal injection to a patient was against the law. The next, it was as legitimate as tonsillectomy, but often with less of a weight. MAID now accounts for about 1 in 20 deaths in Canada, more than Alzheimer's and diabetes combined, surpassing countries where assisted dying has been legal for far longer. Right? It says it is too soon to call euthanasia a lifestyle option in Canada, but from the outset, it has proved a case study in momentum, right? Meaning that it's growing larger. And why? It's not only about the people that are diseased, but you had and brothers did videos on it, basically of people going into these like little chambers, these little pods, so to speak, to off themselves because they don't want to live anymore, man. Right? Now, let's grab the precepts on it. Right, because it's in the book of the error of thine life. I believe that's how it goes. Yeah, there's Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 12, right? And it says, seek not death in the era of your life, and pull not upon yourselves destruction with the works of your hands. Right? So you're not supposed to be out here committing, suicide and things of that, people that's cutting themselves, because that's them trying to ultimately put themselves out, man. Right? So it says, seek not death in the era of your life, and pull not upon yourselves destruction with the works of your hands. But here it is with the conditions upon the earth. Hey, people are sick of it, man. Right? Because this article is getting into basically it's a trend among people who are sick, who are elderly, but they're extending it past just those parameters. Now it's getting into young people, and as it's going to say right here. So I'm going to keep reading. It says, the law was then expanded to include people who are suffering from serious medical conditions, but not facing imminent death. In 2 years, MAID will be available to those suffering only from mental illness. Right? Now, this is the thing. Hey, that whole rainbow movement, you have a lot of people, and it's statistics on it. You can go into it just yourself. But they have something called sexual change regret or sex change regret, man. And basically the people that cut off their rods or try to sew themselves up, they're literally putting themselves to death, man. That's why the suicide rates among them are the highest. Because they're ultimately battling demons, man. Right? And they're giving in. Well, they're not even battling. They're giving in to those demons, because they're saying, okay, I'm not what I was born as. So they're giving into those demons. And then they're dealing with the mental strain and the hells of succumbing into that entity, man. Right? It says in 2 years, MAID will be made available to those suffering only from mental illness. Hey, so I'm pretty sure those people is going to be on the list of those who are able to get it, man. And it's not, oh, y'all supposed to accept me. No, what you're doing is wrong. 40 years ago, this was still deemed as a mental illness. So why all of a sudden it's not anymore? Because you have the wicked running rampant throughout the earth telling people that righteousness is wickedness and wickedness is righteousness. That's what the scripture says, what it says in the book of Isaiah 5:20. I'll grab that and I'll grab another precept after this. Oops, it's like it. Coming from the book of Isaiah 5, verse 20, it says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink, which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him." Got another precept coming out of the book of Proverbs, the 17th chapter. It's Proverbs 17:15. "He that justifieth the wicked, and he that condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai." So there it is. As the scripture says, "Surely the turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay." He is exalted people, and that's why you see in your social media, the biggest degenerates are the most popular people, right? The more wicked you can be, the more famous and the more money that you accrue, right? You get the most money by being the biggest demon. You get the most the best platform, quote unquote, by being the largest demon, man. That's how it goes in this society. They reward degeneracy, right? And that's something that they continuously push into the public to get everybody upon that same vibration, right? So going back to the point here, as far as that MAID program, right? It says, "At the center of the world's fastest growing euthanasia regime is the concept of patient autonomy. Honoring a patient's wishes is, of course, a core value in medicine. But here it has become paramount, allowing Canada's MAID advocates to push for expansion in terms that brook no argument, refracted through the language of equality, access, and compassion. As Canada contends with ever-evolving claims on the right to die, the demand for euthanasia has begun to outstrip the capacity of clinicians to provide it." Meaning what? It's people who aren't even suffering with those things they actually want to die, man, right? Because they understand, that it ain't getting no better in the world. It's not just America. It's not getting any better anywhere. Our elders, Elder Manata Zagba, he do them crash out videos. It's just people just bugging out. Elder Yashawamba has done them. A lot of elders and our apostles have done those videos of people just losing it in their cars. "Oh, we can't pay. I'm going to lose it. I'm losing my house. I lost my job. My kids don't respect me. My wife, she's dealing with another man." These people are bugging out in their lives, man. And they can't take the effects, and they can't take the nature of being destitute of what they used to have. And majority of the time it's Esau, because Jake has been in this state since we got here. But nevertheless, Jake is feeling it too, right? Because that judgment, those curses are still heavy upon us, man, right? But nevertheless, E is feeling this, right? So more and more people are going to try to legally off themselves, right? More and more people, because they're emotionally unstable, they're financially ruined, and they're just mentally distraught, right? Here it is. It says, "A neurologist from Nova Scotia told me that people often ask him about the stress and trauma and strife of his work as a MAID provider. Isn't it so emotionally draining? He said, in fact, for him, it is just the opposite. He finds euthanasia to be energizing and the most meaningful work of his career. It's a happy sad ride," he explained. "It's really sad that you were in so much pain. It is sad that your family is racked with grief, but we're so happy you got what you wanted." And that's how he flip it. Now, this is the thing, when you're born upon earth, you do have to deal with the condition of this battle, man. And our forefather Job spoke of that, man, right? Matter of fact, let's grab it. Right, he basically said, "Why wasn't oops. He said, why didn't he give up the ghost?" He said, "In his mother's womb." Sleep. It's like it. This is coming from the book of Job. This isn't the precept. 1 second. Where should go? Yeah, Job 10. That was Job 3. Yeah, right here. It's Job 3 and 10. Now understand, our forefather Job didn't commit, suicide, man. Due to the hells he felt, the condition was getting heavy. So he was just reminiscing. He's like, damn, like I'm going through all this hell. Shit, I should have never been here. Because especially as an Israelite, and you're put into these chains of darkness, which is far from our estate, and you have to fight against yourself. You gotta fight against your woman. You gotta fight against and here it is. Especially now, the condition is far worse, man. It's far worse, especially as an Israelite man, right? Understand that Job was getting hell put on him, man, and that's when we bring in the account before this of when Yahweh, basically gave Satan the go ahead to plague our forefather Job, man, right? But he just couldn't kill him. So all the hell that Job was catching, this is why he had this thought, man, I'd rather be in the spirit world, because hey, at least when you're there you don't have to deal with the worries of this flesh. You have to worry about eating and sleeping and having a job, getting up at the crack of an alarm, right? Which that's what we're dealing with today, right? Job 3 and 9. Let the stars of the twilight therefore be dark. Let it look for light, but have none. Right? And he's talking about the day of his birth. Neither let it see the dawning of the day, because it shut not up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid sorrow from mine eyes. Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Why did the knees prevent me? Or why the breast that I should suck? For now should I have lain still and been quiet, I should have slept. Then had I been at rest. Right? Because you understand, as the scripture says, I gotta jump down. This is I'm gonna just keep reading. It says, then had I been at rest. Understanding the spiritual world is peace, right? It says, with kings and counselors of the earth which built desolate places for themselves, or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as in hidden untimely birth I had not been, as infants which never saw the light, right, as stillborn. There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. Basically saying in the spirit world, you don't have to deal with, the hells upon earth, man. Which is true. And this is why so many people are trying to off themselves now, man. Because they don't want to deal with what's to come. Because it's only getting worse. When we go into the book of Daniel 12 and it speaks about a time that was never upon the earth, you people are about to be victims of Yahweh Shah's judgment in these last days, man. Right? So it's better if you were, in the spirit world. But Yahweh Shah is going to make it to where you're going to be stuck here. Right? Because your judgment has to come. For example, you go on, and matter of fact, let's do it. Let's show it, right? Go on the Elder Manatazakba's page, man, right? And look at all these niggas. All these Jake scoffing, right? You got the new nigga of the week, Pastor Ray Curry, right? Here it is. You got all these Jake scoffing. Right? All these Jake scoffing. These niggas gotta feel it, man. Jake gotta feel it. They have to feel it. So Yahweh Shah isn't gonna give them, a quick exit. Right? With their sins being their accusers, Jake has to feel it on this side, man. And it's going to come in a very, diabolical way, so to speak, man. It's going to be their worst nightmare. Yahweh Shema Shah is going to give them up into their worst nightmares. And it's good, because Jake needs that hard reset, right? Now, I want to go into the book of Revelation, because it spoke about, and I'll give the background to what the actual account is speaking of, right? Because it's speaking about World War I, right? And it says of men wanting to die, right, and not being able. Here we go. Revelation 9, speaking about the World War I, man. Because this was before there was anesthesia, right? So they had to deal with the pain of the wounds they suffered during that war. Men wanted to die and couldn't. If a limb had to be cut off, they had to just cut it, right? So this is what that scripture is actually speaking of. But it's as the scripture says in the book of Ecclesiastes, that which is then is matter of fact, I'll just grab it quick and then I'll jump to that. I just have to give the background understanding of what this scripture is actually speaking about, right? Oops. Here we go. There's Ecclesiastes 1:9. You see, and it reads, "The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us." So when we go back here into the book of Revelation 9:6, and it reads, "And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them." Right? Yahweh Shema Shah is going to bring forth a time upon the earth in which it's going to be so bad that people are going to want to die. They're going to be back in that state as they were in that war, right? And it's not going to be an avenue out for them. They're going to have to deal with whatever hells that the Lord puts on them until he just takes their spirit from them. That's what it's going to get back to. So if the Lord allows a nigga to escape, or to get touched by famine, to then escape, to get touched by a wild beast, to escape, to get touched by a martial law troop, to escape, to get hit by a pestilence, to escape, to just get hit by a missile, then guess what? All that was lined up for that nigga to deal with so that the Lord can judge him with thermonuclear fire. Because that's going to happen, man. How do we know? When we go into the book of Amos, and it speaks about what? As if a man fled from a lion and a bear met him, right? These all symbolize as what? Troubles. This Amos 5:18. "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of Yahweh Shema Shah is darkness and not light. As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him." Those are some symbolic of troubles, of woes, so to speak. Right? As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? So here it is, when he leaned his hand on the wall, that was him finding a sense of what? Comfort, of solace. But then what happened? A serpent bit him. So you're not about to be off the hook. Yahweh Shema Shai didn't forget. The Lord, as the scripture says in the book of Nahum 1. Let's grab it and I'll close on this. There's Nahum 1:3. And it reads, "The Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, is slow to anger." I'm going to start at 2, Salakia. "Yahweh is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. Yahweh revengeth and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind, and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet." So there it is. He will not at all acquit the wicked. So, you won't be left in a good state and freed from destruction, especially if you're not meant to be, man. Ultimately, if you're not of the elect, if Yahweh Shema Shai didn't, if he wasn't preordained or predestined to save you, then guess what? You're numbered for a judgment by the Lord, man. So that's the point, that a lot of people are trying to seek, calmer judgments or deaths by getting euthanized, man. But ultimately, the people that want it, because it's going to be more and more, the closer we get into the end, more and more people are going to want to escape from this world. A lot of people are going to try to choose to, or going to try to OD by taking meds, or hanging themselves, so forth and so on, all these various ways. Hey, but the Lord is going to allow them to survive through it because they have to get destroyed by thermonuclear fire, man. Right? So that's pretty much the point. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the body. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Harachaha Kodash. A double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere shalom to Yakim bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. Shalom.